Hello everyone, it's me again, Renate, back with another chapter from my life that's equal parts frustrating and enlightening. If you caught my last story about nearly losing $2,000 to a scam, you know I don't shy away from sharing the tough stuff to help others learn. Today, we're diving into something closer to home, literally. The title? My neighbor built a fence on my land. The war begins. Imagine this. I'm standing in my backyard in Berlin, the crisp autumn air nipping at my cheeks, and I'm pointing furiously at the ground, my finger jabbing like a dagger at this shiny new fence that's popped up overnight. My face is flushed, my voice rising as I mutter under my breath, "That's my land, you thief." It was the start of what felt like a full-blown neighborhood war, all over a measly 20 centimeters of dirt. But let me tell you, those 20 centimeters represented so much more. My boundaries, my rights, and my sanity. I almost let it slide to keep the peace, but thank goodness I didn't. This story is about standing up for what's yours, even when it means ruffling feathers. If you've ever dealt with a nightmare neighbor, buckle up. This one's for you. Let me set the scene properly. I've lived in this quiet suburb of Berlin for over 25 years. It's a modest house with a garden that's my pride and joy. Roses, herbs, even a little vegetable patch where I grow tomatoes every summer. My late husband and I bought it back in the 90s, and it's been my sanctuary since he passed. The neighbors? Mostly lovely folks. Coffee chats over the fence, borrowing sugar, that sort of thing. But then there's Herr Mueller. Oh, Herr Mueller. He moved in next door about 3 years ago, a gruff retiree in his 60s with a penchant for loud music and even louder opinions. At first, it was minor annoyances, his dog barking at dawn, his car parked halfway on my driveway. I smiled through it, waved hello because that's what good neighbors do, right? Keep the peace. But peace has its limits, and mine was crossed one fateful morning in early 2024. I woke up to the sound of hammering, persistent, rhythmic bangs that echoed through my kitchen window. Curious, I peeked out and saw Herr Mueller and a couple of workers erecting a wooden fence along our shared boundary. It looked sturdy, about 2 meters high, with fresh panels gleaming in the sunlight. Finally fixing that old chain link thing, I thought. Ours had been sagging for years, and I'd been meaning to discuss replacing it together. But as I watched, something seemed off. The fence wasn't following the old line. It was inching inward, toward my side. I grabbed my coat, slipped on my gardening boots, and marched out there. "Guten Morgen, Herr Mueller," I said politely, forcing a smile. "What's going on with the fence?" He barely looked up, wiping sweat from his brow. "Upgrading it. Old one was an eyesore." I nodded, but then pointed to the ground. "It seems like it's a bit over on my property. Maybe 20 centimeters? He scoffed. "Nonsense, I measured it myself." But I knew my land. I'd paced it out when we planted the hedge years ago. Those 20 centimeters meant my rose bushes were now squeezed against the new fence, their thorns scraping the wood. I tried to stay calm. "Perhaps we should check the property lines together. I have the old survey from when we bought the house." He waved me off dismissively. "No need, it's fine. Go back inside." His tone was sharp, like I was a nosy child. I felt my cheeks burn, but I persisted. "Herr Mueller, this is important. If it's on my land, we need to adjust it." That's when he exploded. "Mind your own business, Frau Renate. This is my fence on my property. If you don't like it, sue me." He turned his back, signaling the workers to continue. I stood there stunned as they hammered away. Humiliated, I retreated to my house, slamming the door a bit harder than necessary. Inside, I paced the living room, fuming. How dare he? But doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? It was just 20 centimeters after all. Maybe let it go for harmony's sake. That's the trap, folks. The slow erosion of your rights because confrontation feels worse. But as the day wore on, anger turned to resolve. I dug out my property documents from the attic, yellowed papers with official stamps from the Berlin Land Registry. Sure enough, the survey showed the boundary line clearly. A straight shot from the street to the back, marked by old iron pins buried in the ground. I grabbed a tape measure and went out alone, careful not to be seen. Measuring from the pin near the front, I extended it back. Yep, the new fence was indeed 20 centimeters over, encroaching on my soil. It wasn't much in area, maybe a strip a few meters long, but it mattered. That land was mine, paid for with hard-earned money, and it affected my garden layout. Plus, if I ignored it now, what next? A shed? An extension? I recalled stories from friends about adverse possession, where if someone uses your land long enough without challenge, they can claim it legally. No way was I letting that happen. So I decided to talk to him again, this time more prepared. The next evening, after the workers had left, I knocked on his door with the survey in hand. He opened it, looking annoyed. "What now?" I held up the papers. "Herr Müller, I've got the official survey here. It shows the boundary is 20 centimeters further out. Your fence is on my property. We need to move it." He snatched the paper, glanced at it, and shoved it back. "This is outdated. My surveyor said otherwise." Wait, he had a surveyor? Why didn't he mention that? "Show me your survey, sir," I demanded. He smirked. "None of your business. Get off my porch." And with that, he slammed the door in my face. I was livid, shaking with rage. Polite conversation had failed. Twice. It was time to escalate. The following morning, I called the local land registry office, or as we say in Germany, the Katasteramt. They're the folks who handle property boundaries and disputes. I explained the situation over the phone. Neighbor built a fence encroaching 20 centimeters. I have old survey. He claims his own. The clerk was sympathetic but bureaucratic. "You'll need an official boundary determination," she said. "File a request, pay the fee, about $500, and we'll send a surveyor." 500? That stung, but it was better than losing land. I filled out the forms online, attached my documents, and waited. In the meantime, I documented everything. Photos of the fence, measurements, even timestamps. I learned from online forums that evidence is key in these disputes. Sites like Reddit's RSA Neighbors from Hell were full of similar stories, people losing slivers of land because they didn't act fast. Weeks passed and the tension mounted. Herr Müller glared at me over the fence whenever I gardened. His dog seemed to bark louder, as if trained to annoy. I avoided eye contact, but inside, I was stewing. Finally, the land registry scheduled a site visit. A young surveyor named Lucas arrived with equipment, tripods, lasers, the works. Herr Müller was there too, arms crossed, looking defiant. "This is ridiculous," he grumbled. Lucas ignored the drama and got to work locating the old pins, cross-referencing with GPS and official maps. After 2 hours, he gathered us. Based on the cadastral records, the boundary is indeed where Frau Renate's survey indicates. The new fence encroaches by approximately 22 centimeters. Vindication. Herr Mueller's face turned beet red. Impossible. My guy said, Lucas cut in, your private surveyor might have erred. Official records prevail. I couldn't hide my smile, but the war wasn't over. Herr Mueller refused to move the fence voluntarily. I'll fight this, he spat. So I had to take the next step, a formal letter from a lawyer. I hired a local attorney specializing in property law. Another $300 hit. She drafted a cease and desist, demanding he remove the fence within 14 days or face court. I hand-delivered it, heart pounding. He accepted it wordlessly, but the next day, workers showed up. Not to remove it, but to reinforce it with concrete posts. The audacity! My lawyer advised patience. We filed a complaint with the local court. It took months, hearings, mediations, but in the end, the judge ruled in my favor. Costs awarded to me, fence to be relocated at his expense. By late 2024, the fence was moved and my roses breathed freely again. Now for the real talk. Don't be too lenient with your property. I learned that the hard way. We're taught to be nice, avoid conflict, especially with neighbors. You have to live next to them after all. But niceness can cost you. That 20 might seem trivial, but it's a principle. Property is your asset, your security. In Germany, boundary disputes are common. Statistics from the Federal Statistical Office show thousands of cases yearly, often escalating to court. People lose because they hesitate, thinking it's not worth the hassle, but it is. Leniency invites more encroachment. Herr Mueller probably thought I'd back down because I'm a widow living alone. Wrong. Standing up empowered me, taught me about my rights. Research your local laws. In the EU, cadastral offices are gold mines and document everything: photos, emails, notes. It's not about being petty, it's about protecting what's yours. Broader lessons: communication first, but if it fails, act decisively. I wish I'd involved authorities sooner instead of multiple talks. And neighbors, choose wisely. But if they're bad, boundaries, literal and figurative, are key. I've since installed a camera overlooking the yard, not spying, just security. And I joined a neighborhood watch group. Turns out others had issues with Herr Mueller too. Unity helps. Wrapping up with a call to action, do you have bad-tempered neighbors? Share in the comments your stories, tips, victories. Maybe you've dealt with fence wars, noisy pets, or parking feuds. Let's commiserate and learn together. I'm Renate, grateful for the win, wiser for the battle. Remember, your land is your castle. Defend it. Thanks for listening.